Hello everyone, welcome to Pixatrick, and in this video I am going to explain all the tools of Snapseed. So first let me open a photo. So just before beginning I am requesting you to watch the full video until the end, cause beside all the tools I have also shared some secret techniques which you won't find anywhere else. So in the styles section there are 11 looks given to us, which are basically portrait, smooth, pop, etc. And we can directly apply them on this photo to make it more amazing, or we can just go to tools and make it happen manually. So first apply one of them, the faded glow. So let's just not select any of them and let's move forward towards the tools. So first comes up tune image, and with this tool you can tune your image or enhance your image. First comes up brightness. If we choose to move towards the right, it will just increase the brightness, and if we choose to move towards the left of the screen, and it will decrease the brightness of the photo. So next comes up contrast. I am going to adjust it a bit over there. And next comes up saturation. If we increase the saturation, our photo looks more saturated or the color pops up, and if we decrease it, it just decreases the color overall. So I will just leave it here. Next comes up ambience. If we increase the ambience, it will give our photo a glowish look, and with that comes the softness too. So I will leave it just over 0. And next comes up highlights, and if we increase the highlights, it just adds more exposure to the highlighted area of the photo. We don't need it right now. Next comes up shadows. Shadows also increases or decreases the exposure of the shadows area of the photo, so we will increase it a bit. Next comes up warmth. Warmth actually tone up your photo by making it warm if we increase it, or making it cold if we decrease it. So next comes up details. Details contains structure and sharpening, both the parameter, and if we just increase the structure, we can see that it is actually sharpening overall structures of the image, and leave it right here. Next comes up curves. So in the curve section we get control over RGB curve and curves of red or green or blue, and over the luminance curve. So if we adjust it a little bit, we will see that what happens if we adjust the curves. This one is the highlights part, and as I am decreasing it, you can see that the exposure over the highlighted area is decreasing also. Similar thing happens with the shadows part too. If we just decrease it, the shadows part gets darker, and if we increase it, it gets exposed. I am going to also choose the green curve. If I just tap over the eye, the curves have disappeared. So in the preset curves section, we can see that the preset curves are here, and we can apply them on our photo and make it look more beautiful. Next comes up white balance, and in the white balance section we have temperature and tint. By controlling the temperature, we can increase or decrease the temperature of the whole photo, or we can adjust the white balance, and by using tint we can color it up as we wish. So next comes up the crop tool, and in the crop tool we can crop our photo, and we can also choose some preset crop profiles from here and apply it on our photo directly. Next comes up rotate, and as soon as we open the rotate section, the photo is auto adjusted. Now if we are not satisfied with that, we can move it like this and adjust it as per our need. So the next tool is perspective, and when using perspective, at first always check that the content with which the adjusted area is filled is always set on default or smart, which is controlled from over here. If it sets on white or black, it will just leave the mark over here, and if we just select smart, it will automatically fill it completely. So from the perspective tool, you can tilt shift your photo according to your need, or you can rotate it manually, or you can scale it as per your need, or you can freely transform it like this. So next comes up expand tool. So the rule of selecting default or smart also applies here, but you can just choose white or black and it will just add a frame over your photo, or if we just choose smart, it will just fill it automatically. and also our resolution of the photo is increased. So the next tool is Selective, and by tapping on the plus over here, which is already selected, we can place some controllable selective point. So maybe I will just expose my shadows a little bit. So I will choose all the shadows from a single point over here, and if we just place it over here, it will choose the surrounded highlighted area, and if we choose it over the water, it will choose curves which are similarly exposed, surrounded by it. So there are 4 parameters which we can control from here, which are brightness, contrast, saturation and structure. So I will move forward towards the structure and make it quite sharpen, and I will increase the brightness a little bit also, and I will add another point over here and I will just expose them a little bit. Okay, that is it. So next comes up brush tool, and 4 brush tools gives you manual control over exposure, temperature and saturation. So if we choose just dodge and burn, and if we apply it over here, it will just brighten the area, and if we decrease it by tapping on the left arrow, it will darken the area where it is applied, and we can tap on the eye and we can see that where it is applied. Now let's erase it. Next comes up exposure, which literally helps you to expose selected areas of the photo. So as it is set on 0.7, it will just overexpose the area where it is applied, and if we just decrease it a little bit, like -0.7, so if we apply it, you can see that the photo or the selected part where it is applied, it is underexposed. So let's erase it. Next comes up temperature, and by choosing temperature we can apply cold hues or we can warm up selected areas. As it is set on 10, it is actually warming up the area, and if we just set it on a negative value, it will just cool down the selected area where it is applied. We can see the applied area. So let's erase it and move forwards towards the saturation. So if we choose saturation, which is already activated on 10, and I will apply it over here, and you will see that the part where it is applied is actually more saturated from the other parts where it is not. So that is it. And next comes up healing tool. Healing tool actually removes objects or blemishes from your photo. I want to disappear this rock over here, so I will color it like this, and it is disappeared. It is amazing. Next comes up HDRscape, and there are 4 presets given in the HDRscape which are completely adjustable, and we can control the strength of the filter, and I will just leave it here. So next comes up glamour glow. Now the glamour glow add a soft glow to the overall photo, and you can choose different profiles and you can also customize it. Next comes up tonal contrast, and tonal contrast actually sharpens the tones presented in your image, which are basically high tones, medium tones or mid tones and low tones. You can also protect your shadows and highlights while doing the work. So I will just protect my highlights from here, and I will add more value to the high tones, and you can see that it is actually adding more noise, so I will just leave it over here. Okay, next comes up drama. So drama literally adds dramatic effects in your photo, and you can choose from different presets over here, and you can adjust them too. I will not add it. And next comes up the vintage filters. So in the vintage filters, you can see that there are preset profiles which are adjustable, and you can also add a Gaussian blur effect in the edge by tapping on this. So I will just leave it here. Next comes up grainy film. So grainy film provides you modern film look with minimal grains, which is adjustable, and there are a lots of different presets available here. You can choose from them, and you can also maintain the strength of the style and the grain. So this is it. Next comes up Retrolux. So Retrolux gives your photo a 60s retro film look with adjustable light leaks and scratches, and you can shuffle between them by tapping on the crossed arrow over here, or you can choose from different presets and you can adjust them. So next comes up grunge. Grunge is basically for backgrounds like walls, floors and roofs, and you can choose from the overlays and you can adjust them or you can shuffle between them. Next comes up black and white. In the black and white section you can choose from different presets and you can also adjust them. Next comes up noir. So noir turns your photo into a vintage monochromatic photograph with basic adjustments, or you can choose from the different profiles over here. I won't be needing it, so let's leave it here. And next comes up portrait adjustments. As there is no person in the photo, it couldn't find it, so let's cancel the filter. So next comes up the head pose, and as it is for working with portraits too, like the portrait tool over here, so we won't be able to use it in this photo. So I will discuss on their working method when we are going to retouch a portrait in it. Next comes up the lens blur. Lens blur provides you two types of blur. The first one is circular, and if we just tap on the circle down there, it will change to a linear blur. And we can adjust the transition or the area outside of the first rectangle, and we can just increase or decrease it. And we can also choose the vignette strength and the blur strength from there. So that is it. The next tool is Vignette. So from the Vignette tool we can control the outer brightness and the inner brightness too. So I will just increase the outer brightness a little bit. That is it. So our next tool is double exposure, and in the double exposure we can add some elements in the photo by just clicking on the plus image button here, and we can choose elements like grasses. So you can see that it has appeared on the photo like a beautiful overlay, and you can also choose from different blending modes by tapping on here. Or you can choose the opacity. So that is it. I'm going to undo it. So our next tool is text, and we can choose from the different styles of text given here, and we can double tap to change it. Now here is a fun thing to do. We can just invert the opacity and make it amazing. Now let's cancel it. Next comes up frames, and as the name explains, you can choose from different type of frame and you can just add it in your photo. So this is it. Now if you want to see all the edits you have done until now, you can see them from here, and you can choose to keep them or delete them by tapping on the pin over there, or you can readjust it by there, clicking on. Now let's get back. Now let's export the photo. So you can share it in another application, or you can just save or export it. So I'm just going to save it. Now we can reset all the works we have done until now by tapping on this and by choosing revert from here. So that's all for this one. See you in the next.